Tanya. See if I could do justice to today's Tanya. We finished learning chapter 31 on Friday. We learned in last week's lesson. We finished learning chapter 31 in Tanya. This is chapter 32. It almost seems like the Alter Rebbe stuck in a topic not relevant to what we're learning about because it's chapter 32. What's so special about chapter 32? Chapter 32 stands for Leiv. Leiv means a heart. And what is the heart of Tanya? So if we asked you till now what summed up, everyone who's been learning Tanya with me at length, I'd ask you what is the point of Tanya, probably would answer that it's serving Hashem. But he wants to say today that Tanya, the heart of Tanya is really about a love of a fellow Jew. Now, he does connect it though. It is very much connected to the previous chapter of Tanya. It does flow, but it's a chapter on its own that talks about love of a fellow Jew. And this is a very important topic because I would say one of the greatest challenges we have, and remember it as we mentioned when we were learning the Ten Commandments, what's the hardest thing? And that's jealousy. One of the greatest challenges we have in life is that we're jealous of the people next to us. Probably is the most significant thing. And therefore, one of the commandments is to love your fellow as yourself. It's one of the most important mitzvahs. And therefore, how can we achieve that if we're always looking at me and him? And if he has it, I don't have it. So if it's either me or him, how could we really love a person as ourselves? How can we reach that level? That's a very high level to reach. And this is a very important point in today's class, to be able to get there, because it's real stuff. As we look around in life, we always feel threatened by the other person, the competition. Now, at times in life, we could figure out a way to have a relationship with somebody else, even though it takes away from me, because I might say that it's worth it for me to have a relationship with them, even though I'm losing, because really I'm benefiting more than I'm losing. So maybe in a marriage, I'm feeling, a greater sense of love, than not, but I'm still losing, but I'm benefiting more than I'm losing. But the problem with this is that it's only lasting for a limited amount of time. The problem is that we're always, as long as we're looking, we're going to go deeper in Tanya, as we always do, as long as we're looking at our bodies as being the main thing, every other person's always a competition to me, right? Like Rabbi Tal was giving some examples. He's like, if I come into shul and I see that guy sitting in my chair, there's not enough room for me and him to sit in my chair. He's sitting in my chair. Or if there's one piece of cake, he ate the cake. He ate it, not me. It's either me or him. In every physical aspect of life, it's either me or him. Or if someone's getting more honor than you're getting and you feel left out, he's getting all the attention, it's either you or him. So life is a very challenging thing to reach this level of Avos Yisrael, love your fellow as yourself. So how is it possible for us to reach that level of love your fellow as yourself? Tanya is going to make the argument today that you can't. You can't love your fellow as yourself if you're looking from a bodily aspect. If that's what you're using, then you can't. Then you're not going to be able to. It's not possible. You're always going to be thinking about yourself because it's either you or him. However, how can you love your fellow as yourself if you're able to refocus who you are? And who you are is your soul, not your body. Because in the soul perspective, you and him are really one. And it makes no difference who has it. So if there's a limited amount of something, does my body get it or does his body get it? But from a soul perspective, the soul that's in him is the same soul that's in me. And therefore, it makes no difference who gets it. And I'm very happy for him to get it. I think, to me, and a good example of this is simply to say, like, I know when there's brothers who have a good relationship with each other, like, I don't know if this is a good example to you or not, but like some people, they go to the restaurant and everybody wants to make sure it's split equally, like make sure everyone is split equally. But sometimes when siblings, let's say a group of brothers that are very close, they're like, I don't care, whatever, you pay for it, I pay for it, I don't, you know what I mean? Because they feel like they're one unit. They don't even feel like I guess it's like a couple, who pays for it? Who cares who pays for it? It's coming out of the same bank account. So it doesn't really matter who pays for it. So if we could view, like, it's the team, right? Like a good team. It's not about who on the team made the shot, got the basketball in. It's about, did the team get a basket or not? So as long as you're individual, your body, which is individual, will always feel threatened and competitive. It might give into relationship because it feels the benefits from the relationship, and it might figure out a good way for many years to live with a good relationship. But it's not. It could always lose it very quickly because as soon as you lose the benefit, then you're not interested in the relationship anymore. But if you're really one and the same, if you can look from a soul perspective, then all of a sudden the threat goes away. So this is a very fundamental idea to being able to really have Ahavas Yisrael, to love your fellow as yourself. Now, why is it here in Tanya? It flows, because what did we speak about in the previous classes in Tanya? We said that if I look at my body perspective, I'm going to be very bitter and sad, because my body has all these challenges. But if I look at my soul perspective, I'll be happy because I'm helping my godly soul out. So flowing from the earlier topic goes in right away to our current topic of that's the same way, to love your fellow as yourself. So it goes into Ahavas Yisrael. Let's look inside. We'll see the ideas inside. And if anyone has any questions or comments afterwards, we'll do that. But let's go into today's Tanya. Okay. So we finished the Chumash. Now we're going to do today's Tanya. Let's see it inside. Okay. So, so by you fulfilling what we spoke about at length in the earlier 2 weeks of Tanya, how your body is not the main thing from you. You're able to shift perspective, right? A lot of times people get caught up. They think the body is the main thing. But if you're able to refocus, reconnect, and look at your soul as the main thing, and your happiness and joy will be because of your godly soul. You figured it out. You've learned that in life, I'm going to look at my soul as the main thing. And my happiness comes from there. I'm not going to be depressed over my bodily challenges I have, but I'm going to look at the happiness of what I could do for my godly soul. So following along on that earlier discussion about figuring out how to make our soul the main thing, this is also a very clear path, the kala and an easy path, lovely the key mitzvahs, to fulfill one of the 630 mitzvahs, which is the commandment to love your fellow Jew as yourself. Any Jew of the Jewish people, from big to small, right? We're specifically talking about Jewish people here. There's another separate commandment that we have to respect all creations, but this class is specifically on the Jewish people. So there's a commandment in Torah that you have to love every Jew as yourself, and no matter who that person is. How is that possible? So it's possible once you've studied at length what we've been studying the last 2 weeks in Tanya. Since your body is lowly and loathsome, you're not a physical person all about your body anymore after learning the earlier chapters in Tanya. And however, on the flip side, your godly soul, it's the greatest of the greatest. Who knows how great they even are? Coming from Hashem himself, their source is life is connected to Hashem, the source of life itself. So I learned that I'm not a physical person that has spiritual experience. I'm a spiritual person. That's who I am, that has physical experience. The other way around. I learned that to focus and look at myself as my godly soul. So not just am I looking at it, my godly soul is ultimately selfless, but more than that, the souls all come from the same place. Like the same sun shining lights in different houses at the same time. It's the same sun. Same light is coming from the same place. When we have one Father. So this whole me and you, there is no me and you. We're really one. The soul comes from one place. But like I was saying, when you go out to eat with your spouse, you're going to eat with your siblings, you don't care who pays for the thing. You feel like it's one. That's why the Jewish people are called brothers. Why? What makes them brothers? It could be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cousins, because their soul, it's because of the soul. It's because of their soul, who comes from the one source of their soul, which comes from one God. It's only that the sun is shining in different houses, so you think it's different sunlight. The bodies are separate bodies that are distinct from each other, so everybody feels like their own independent existence. But the soul, it's the same soul that's in you, that's in me, and all of us here in this class, and all the Jewish people around the world, it's the same neshama, it's the same soul. Therefore, if you're the kind of person that didn't study Tanya till now, that we've been learning, and your body is the main thing by you, that's all you care about, that's your living for is your body, and your soul is really not so relevant to you, it's impossible. It will be impossible for you to really have the brotherly love, real love between you. What do I mean by real love? The love, since you're looking at it always from your ego, from yourself, your id, your ego, your gluttonous self, it's always for a reason. I love that person because they make me feel good. or I love what that person does for me. I love the money they have. I love the honor that they have. I love they're beautiful. They make me look good. They make me feel good. They're good status. Whatever it is, it's always for a reason. The problem is that reason will pass. If you marry somebody for their looks, the looks are not going to stay forever. If you marry somebody for their money, they might not have their money forever. So if you're marrying for a reason, for your body, then there must be a reason. Why do I want to have to bother with that other person? I have to share stuff with them and so on. It must be because I'm benefiting. But that benefit, if it's coming from the body, that's a physical benefit that will go. That will not be there forever. So you understand what he's saying? That there's no way, it's impossible to really love the person as yourself if it's from the body perspective. You must first, the number one thing is accomplish what we've been discussing in Tanya, is figure out that your body should be secondary, and and that's not you. You don't look at yourself you as the body, you look at yourself as the soul. That's what you're refocusing on who you are. What's your identity? What's my identity? So if my identity is my physical body, then that person, every time they take something, it's away from me. But if my identity is not my body, my identity is my soul, then that's a whole nother ballgame. Then it's much easier for me. Then I don't get upset much because you didn't take away anything from me. The soul within you, the soul within me is actually the same thing. And this is what the sage Hillel would say, the elder Hillel, on this mitzvah. He would actually say that you should know that the one mitzvah of love your fellow as yourself is not just one of the 613 mitzvahs. It actually reflects the entire Torah. The one mitzvah, this one of the 630 mitzvahs, is just focus on this mitzvah. That's it. That's all you need to know for the whole Torah. Why? How do I know from love your fellow? Fine, maybe I learned don't murder out of it. Maybe I could learn, don't steal from love your fellow yourself. Maybe those make sense. But how do I learn the whole Torah? The entire Torah, the sacrifices. What does that have to do? Wearing tzitzis? I don't know. Saying Shema. What does that have to do with love your fellow as yourself? What in the world is the connection? How could Hillel say, right? The famous story the Talmud tells us that the guy wanted to convert. He went to the scholar Shammai, and Shammai says, "Get the heck out of here." He hit him with a broom and with a stick. He says, "Get out of here." What do you mean you want to learn the whole Torah on 1 foot? Hillel says, "I can teach you the whole Torah on 1 foot, no problem. Love your fellow as yourself." But what does that really mean? Why does love your fellow as yourself? Why does that reflect the Torah? He says, I'll tell you why. Because you cannot fulfill love your fellow as yourself unless you learn that your soul is the main thing. And that is the whole Judaism. It's what loving your fellow out of yourself means deeper. The source of love your fellow self means that my soul is the main thing. And that is the whole Torah. That makes sense. The whole Torah is that you should make your soul the main thing. So he says, I tell you one thing, love your fellow as yourself. Once you hit that level of love your fellow as yourself, you got in touch with everything the Torah is trying to tell you. What's the mission and the goal of the whole Torah, of everything, the mitzvahs and everything? So we've been learning in Tanya till now. The whole point of everything is to lift up your godly soul on the body, overcome the challenge, overcome the war, and make your soul the main thing. You want to know what a barometer is that you've done that? Perfect. Love your fellow as yourself. If people annoy you, then you're a body person. If people don't annoy you, then you're a godly person. It's a very easy barometer test to see. And you could know if you've reached the soul level yet or not. So A, it's to make your godly soul, lift your godly soul up beyond your body. And also to bring down the infinite energy of Sem, of God, into Knesset Yisrael, into the soul, the general soul of the Jewish people, which all the souls come from. That we'll explain at length later on. So basically, he's going to explain this, that all the souls come from this one soul, which is called Knesset Yisrael, and each Jew doing their part. When we hold our tzitzis, when we say in the morning prayer, we say L'Shem Yichud Kudsha B'richu Shchinte. We say unifying God with His Shechina. We're really little players in a big soul that's really all of us together, all the Jewish people together. So our goal is to bring godliness, to lift up our soul, get in touch with that main soul, we want to say is our real identity, which is really who we are, and bring godliness down from Hashem into that general soul, which brings it into all Jewish people. So we're all players in one game. We're all on one team, trying to bring godliness to there and trying to get in touch with that soul that's really in all of us, which is really one and the same. That's why when there's fighting among Jews, it's disastrous. When you're fighting with another person, you're fighting with yourself. What happens when you fight? There's no room for blessings there. because God doesn't like it. God's uncomfortable there, right? I think of examples like with my kids when they're fighting. I need to leave the room. I can't handle it. If they don't want to listen, they want to keep on fighting. I don't want to be there in the room where my kids are fighting. So when we're fighting with each other, we fractured our soul, and Hashem can't give blessing to them. I mean, there's other examples. How could you pour a drink in a cup that's broken, that's splintered? You can't. It doesn't work. It'll pour out. Or Hashem won't want to even be there when we're splintered. So Hashem doesn't rest where there's brokenness, where there's things that are fragmented. We say, may Hashem bless us as one, be our panecha in the light of your continence, like we explained elsewhere at length. So, and that's our mission in life, is to bring godliness to this world. You want to bring godliness to this world? Number one step, you cannot do it without loving your fellow as yourself. So, Avas Yisrael is not just, love your fellow is not just one of the 613 mitzvahs, right? Avas Yisrael is not just one of the 630 mitzvahs. It is the 630 mitzvahs. It reflects the essence, the heart of all the mitzvahs. So, in order to do Avas Yisrael, you need love your fellow as yourself. You need to have a soul perspective, and on the flip side too, by having loving your fellow as yourself, you will bring Hashem into this world. You'll accomplish your mission that everything is set out for. So Avos Yisrael is reflecting, is a barometer, and is creating everything we've been learning in Tanya till now. So loving your fellow is key element to all the stuff we mentioned above. And that is today's Tanya. Any questions or comments on what we learned? About the importance of loving your fellow as yourself. And how to do it, how to get there. Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
So, I mean, I definitely understand that we have to look ourselves as the soul first and then the body, but yet we're in the body, and to show Avos Yisrael, to show love, we have to do physical things, right? In turn. So how does that all work? Like if we always come from the perspective that we're a soul, we can't do things just solely. We have to do it through the body and through the physical world. Is
right. So I guess the in that case, the body is there just to facilitate what the soul wants. So no one's saying you don't have a body, but the body is a tool of the soul because the soul is the main thing, right? I guess in the sense, like I'm thinking like, and you look at yourself as a soul and you look at the other person like a soul. Understand? So it's two parts to it actually. The soul is the main thing of you, and the soul of the other person is the main thing too. So like you're helping yourself. Now it's not even him and you; it's one and the same.
But then you have to use your body to show that love.
Correct. The body's there. Correct. 100%. 100%. That's how we know how you feel by using your body. So if you're helping somebody in need because you really care about them, you do that through your body. 100%. You need to use the body. But the question is, I guess, who are you really? What's the main you? What is the main you? Is your soul just there to help your body, or is your body there to help your soul? Who's the main person by you? Which one's the real you? So am I a soul? Am I a spiritual person that has physical experiences that needs to use my physical body? Or am I a physical person that I have spiritual experiences? Who am I really?
So we're really trying to transcend the physical, like, we always talk about transcending the physical into spiritual, but really.
Yeah, we're trying to, we're saying, look, the main thing, like in business.
The physical into spiritual.
Huh?
Think about it.
Yeah, we're turning the physical into spiritual. Correct.
Physical into spiritual, not the spiritual.
Yeah. Well, he said we're doing both. We're bringing godliness down into the world and thereby turning the physical into spiritual, correct? Like you said, we're also lifting up the physical from among the spiritual by recognizing that the spiritual is really the main thing and not the physical is the main thing.
So like they're kind of intertwined, but like the spiritual will be more of the focus, bringing
exactly, up the spiritual. Yeah. What's the point? What's the point here? Focus on the point. Don't forget keep your eyes focused. Keep your eyes on the prize.
So the point I'm trying to understand is, to come with the viewpoint of we're all together, all as one souls, but we have to help each other and love each other through the body.
But you're using the body to help it. Something a person that walks around and their whole thing is their body, right? They're always shopping for the body. They're living their whole life for the body. They're shopping for the body. They're making the body feel good. That is who they are. Such a person, everyone's a conflict to them because everything takes away from you. So in business, if I have someone else doing the same business as me is competition to me. But a person whose soul's the main thing, he's like, I'm very happy the other guy got a business because he is me. We're one and the same. Our souls are really one and the same. Now he could serve Hashem and I could serve Hashem. Now he has enough money to feed his family so that they could serve Hashem, and I have enough money so I can feed my family to serve Hashem. It's not you're very happy for that other person because they are you. You're actually loving yourself, and that's why you love the other person.
So you can't even be selfish. You know how people, I sometimes think about, like, when you're helping somebody, are you helping them or you're helping yourself? Because in turn you're getting joy from helping others. So
but you see, the joy is still the joy could be if I'm doing it because I'm getting joy, then the second I'm not getting joy, I don't want to help the person anymore. And in other words, it's still selfish. It could be, which is not a bad thing. Do it for the wrong reason, but at least do it. But if the reason you're doing it is because you're getting joy out of it, as soon as the joy is not there, you're not going to want to help the person anymore.
But it's all connected because you're getting joy because you're helping the other person. Like,
but he's saying that's not why you should. Right, but if you reach the level you're supposed to with your work it the other way. If your soul's the main thing, by default, that person needs. He's me. What do you mean? It's not me and him anymore.
So you're always going to get joy. There's no not getting joy in helping.
Correct. But remember, we said joy is a tool. Rabbi Tal mentioned this in his class. It's like a lot of people make a mistake today. Is the goal in life is joy. So they do everything so that they could be happy, so that they could have joy. So it's the opposite. Joy is to help you succeed with everything else in life, is a tool to be successful in life, which is what we've been learning in Tanya. Joy will open you up and make everything work better. So joy is not the goal. That's a very selfish bodily goal. If everything I do in life is to have joy, it's I want to please my body. But
so is the goal to connect to your godly soul? Is that the ultimate goal?
Yeah, the goal is to bring Hashem in this world, do Torah mitzvahs, and connect to Hashem through doing Torah mitzvahs. Joy is a tool to help us be successful in that, help us be successful in anything in life. Joy will make me more successful in business, will make me successful in everything in life. But if my goal is joy, a lot of times it could be a very selfish kind of a goal, because I want to be happy. I want my body to feel good. But real people figured out that the soul is the main thing, not the body, and therefore joy will be used to bring Hashem into this world, to help another person. But that person's not even another person, that's me. So I don't even look at the person as a conflict with me because it is me. Not a competition between me and the other person. I need them to succeed because they are me. It's a whole different way. I already have internal love for myself, but they are me. So how could I not love them? Why are they not you? They're not a threat to you because what's so important to you is the godly perspective, the soul perspective, and they are you, and therefore they're not a threat to you anymore.
It's how we're supposed to view our wives and our children, right? Because in turn.
But by the way, then I would say, if you view it this way, I remember getting in touch with this a long time ago, this idea, why should your children be more important than someone else's kids? If you're cared about your kids in a very selfish way, then your kids you're important, but I don't care that the neighbor's walking around without shoes to wear, without food to eat. But if I'm coming from the soul perspective, that person's also needs. I mean, like, I have to share with that person too. It's not just about me, right? So that's a little bit, again, digging deeper and looking from a soul perspective. Everything's one and united, and we want the other person to succeed because they and you are one. Not because they're nice or not. And this is a way you could love every single person. So when the guy's getting you nervous and shul, you say, look, it's me getting me nervous. It's not someone else. I'm getting myself nervous by the other person. Yeah.
How do you take this viewpoint into the rest of the world, not just in the Jewish realm?
But I think the way to view the rest of the world is everyone's creations of God, and we have to respect all of God's creations, right? So that's also a very important thing. I'm not taking away from that. But
is it at the same level, or are we looking at everybody as part of God?
Everyone comes from God. Everyone's God's creations. But I think that the Jewish people share a unique factor that they're one soul, that they are one soul, and that they really are one. In this sense, is a unique Ahavas Yisrael. I think maybe the other idea is everything's created by Hashem, and therefore everything deserves to be respected. Everything deserves to be treated with honor and respect because everything's creations of God, but this unity that we are one because of our soul is unique to the neshama, and that's a Jewish soul that we're talking about today. Okay, that's a Jewish soul that we're talking about today. I saw someone mention in a book I just read yesterday is that there's a certain group of people by the Torah accepted the Torah on ourselves. You know, that we'll do the Torah. That was a Jewish soul. That was the Jewish people that accepted that united them in this unique mission in this world that we have. So in this literally being one is among the Jewish people. It happens to be that Jewish people fight a lot, right? We have the biggest challenges, but this is the core to be successful in life is having unity will bring blessing in every other aspect of our life. By the way, you see this, they say like the greatest thing a parents can do for the children is to love each other. Is when parents love and respect and cherish each other, the children grow up very healthy. So all blessings in life come from unity, come from oneness. The question is how to get there. So he's giving you the remedy in Tanya that based on our earlier classes in Tanya, which we've learned that the soul's the main thing. This is a guaranteed way to get to loving Hashem to loving your fellow as yourself by using this previous method of our soul being the main thing and not our bodies. Because if you look at your body, the main thing, you'll never really be able to love someone as yourself. That could only be done by our previous chapters in Tanya, where the soul is the main thing. All right. Thank you all for joining me. Have an amazing day. We'll see you all here tomorrow, same time, same place, as we continue to learn about Avos Yisrael, loving your fellow as yourself, and also continue to learn about the things that the Kohanim were. Have an amazing day.
Thank you, Rabbi.